What's up guys, I'm back with another media review. Today we're talking about a painting which I saw on my recent trip to Milan. When I was in Milan I had to check out the Pinacoteca di Brera, which is one of the more important art museums within Europe. And in the Pinacoteca you can see all different kinds of paintings from back in early Renaissance over like Baroque, Romantic periods to the more modern Impressionist, earlier 20th century paintings. However, one painting which immediately caught my attention was the Pergola by Silvestro Lega, also known as just the Afternoon, and this was painted in 1868 with oil on canvas, and it is part of the Macchiaioli movement in art, which was this mid-19th century movement which rejected the more academic kind of painting and was instead a kind of early Impressionist movement. There's a striking resemblance to later works by people such as Claude Monet. However, they were just a bit earlier. The painting shows a scene of an aristocratic family sitting outside under the pergola while being served their afternoon coffee by the maid. We can see that the center of the painting is the aristocratic lady, which is sitting with this kind of thinking expression while holding a fan. She has very light beige robes which contrast the shadow that she's sitting in, cast by the pergola. We've got basically two frames. One frame is the pergola itself, containing within it the family, while the other frame made up by the right wall of the pergola and the wall with pots and plants on it is kind of framing the background, which we can assume to be maybe a vineyard or something similar. On the topic of composition, we've got the maid also standing out. She's kind of the second thing the viewer looks at, and this because she's standing upright and intersecting the line made up by the wall with pots and plants on it, as well as having more light robes and not sitting in the shadow. Generally, what makes this painting stand out to me is its stunning color palette. Not only do we have these very soft greens, which are owed to just the beautiful motif of the pergola, which lends itself to this kind of stuff incredibly well. But we've also got pops of color with the flowers in the pots, and when the warm sunlight hits the leaves on the pergola, it even shimmers in this beautiful golden color. Now, what this painting illustrates especially well, in my opinion, is just the very carefree lifestyle led by people in higher social classes at the time, perfectly illustrated by the artistic choice to use these soft colors and this golden afternoon lighting, which just gives you the sense that there's no care in the world for the aristocratic lady. Now, this is perfectly in line with what I said earlier about this kind of paving the way for Impressionists such as Claude Monet, whose entire philosophy is about not representing reality or telling as much of a story, but more conveying a feeling or a moment in time, the way you perceive it, which is in a lot of ways an even more difficult discipline than just capturing exactly what is in front of you. Now, neither the pergola painting itself nor Silvestro Lega are particularly famous. In fact, they are kind of hidden gems. But I think it's worth casting a spotlight on these paintings because they are some of the most beautiful and rewarding pieces of artwork to experience. Keep in mind, during the production of this painting, it had just been a couple of years since the armed conflict which led to the Italian reunification, so it must have been a welcome change to just imagine yourself as this careless, high-class family getting their afternoon coffee instead of being constantly engulfed by the turmoil of the time. And I think everyone has at some point or another had one of these moments, one of these afternoons where they've just been able to be a little carefree. Maybe you gather with some friends or you have a picnic out in a park or something. I think that's a very universal experience which everyone can kind of appreciate. And that just goes to show how even paintings which were from such a different time can be reinterpreted to be so meaningful even 200 years later with completely different experiences. So all in all, I'd say if you get the chance, check out the Pinacoteca di Brera in Milan and see this painting for yourself. It's a very rewarding experience, and I think that's about it. See you.